Cyber Uncut. Discover the changing face of business, government and national security as Australia navigates the cyber revolution.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are listening to Cyber Uncut, the podcast presented by Cyber Daily. I am Cyber Daily's Deputy Editor, David Hollingworth, and I'm joined by my colleague...
Daniel Croft.
Excellent. We got that out of the way. Smooth, nice. Okay, so we've got some news, obviously, but we also just went through a long weekend. How was your long weekend?
Long weekend was good. I subbed in with a band I've been mates with for a long time called Largo for this festival in Tamarama.
Dan showed me some footage from it, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
They're an incredible band, and yeah, it was really, really fun jumping in and playing some tunes with them.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, very, very big Sunday, very, very quiet Monday for the public holiday.
As you would expect, yeah.
And then, yeah, the Friday, Saturday, I was up at a friend's place for like a birthday weekend for
lovely.
For her. So, yeah, really, really nice. Sat by the water on Saturday, drank wine. Wine infused with fresh jalapeno. Sounds
what
really...
am I missing out on? What am I missing out on here? Come on.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Ice cold Sauv Blanc on a hot day with cut up bits of fresh jalapeno in it. It sounds whack.
No, I'm here for this.
Awesome.
These are two things I love.
With vodka as well, we found out it was really, really good. But I'd leave it sitting in the bottle. But anyway, that's my alcoholic weekend.
Welcome to Drinking
cheers.
Uncut.
Yeah, cheers.
Don't worry, we'll get to some actual drinking news later in the podcast. Yeah.
How about you?
Look, it was a long weekend. It was smooth. Might have gone a little bit wild on Friday night, knowing that there were days to recover.
Yeah.
And then might have gone, well, it's Sunday and Monday's off. Might have got a little bit loose on Sunday. But no, it was lovely. I didn't leave the house nearly as much as you did, but I did have a very, very good time.
Oh, nice.
Less good times. I think all of our AI stories today are vaguely negative or on the negative band. There is some good news in there, but let's kick off with Deloitte.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Deloitte, as you used to say.
I know. It's one of those words that I've never said out loud and never had reason to.
No, exactly,
And then, it's like when Lord of the Rings fans meet each other and that you realize you got to say Legolas? Legolas? For the first time. Anyway, Deloitte.
Yeah. So
they've had to refund a small amount of money, just a little.
Yeah,
just a bit.
A partial refund of a $440,000 report that was commissioned by the government. So the Department of Employment and Workplace Relations, DEWR, D-E-W-R otherwise.
DEWR.
I'm just going to stick with the department. Commissioned this report, and it was to do with... I forget. That's not the important part. So the initial report was published in July.
Yeah.
And a few people, including Chris Judge from the University of Sydney, noticed a few issues with the report.
M-dashes all over it?
So, yeah, I'll go through some of them. They refer to a Justice Davis, an incorrect spelling of Justice Davies, who said that the burden... This was in the context of... it was a robo-debt case, famous robo-debt case.
Oh, well, that continues to be a great thing, yeah.
Justice Davis said that the burden rests on the decision maker to be satisfied on the evidence that the debt is owed. A person's statutory entitlements cannot be lawfully reduced based on an assumption unsupported by evidence, in paragraphs 25 and 26.
Yeah.
The catch, paragraphs 25 and 26 don't actually exist, and it wasn't a real quote. And then, once again, the report refers to a paragraph 30. As you know, there's no 25 or 26, so there can't be a 30.
You would guess that, yes.
This quote was real, but it appeared in paragraph 9. There are a wealth of these mistakes just highlighted by this academic in this article, so I'm not going to go through every single one.
Suffice to say there's some.
Yeah. And
you know what? Because interject, one is more than enough.
One is more than enough, you're right. Now, the reason for these mistakes, the Deloitte was using AI. Now, we don't know for a fact that the AI led to the mistakes by writing it directly. We don't know if it was involved in research or anything like that, but the company is admitted to using AI for part of the writing process. Yeah. And as we've discussed many times before, AI likes to hallucinate. So
I'm not even sure if it likes to hallucinate. It just
does.
Yeah.
I don't think it likes to do anything. It just does do it. Yeah. So Deloitte uploaded a new version of the report confirming that they had used AI originally. However, They said that the report's findings were unaffected by the mistakes.
Except for the mistakes.
Well, weirdly, the Department of...
I'm
going to have to try and remember this long department name again. Department of Employment and Workplace Relations also said that the report stands. The findings of the report are consistent and
possible,
stands.
considering that there are quotes that are made up, that it's referring to paragraphs that don't even exist.
Unless it's just referring to the conclusions we came to because of the research we'd done.
Are still valid?
Yeah, sure. But you can't base your research off lies.
I'd throw it all out.
Yeah. So, look, Deloitte's done it, and they've said they're going to partially refund. I think it was specifically $439,000, maybe $440,000, one of the two. The government for part of that fund for the mistakes. So, kind of a happy ending, but not at all.
It amazes me that these big organizations, big consultancies, major law firms, one of our sister titles is Lawyers Weekly, and whenever I glance at their site, like it's another law firm which has been using AI and it's hallucinated case law and precedent. It's just like, when are people going to stop doing this?
The best part about it, best depending on the funniest part, is that Deloitte offers consultancy services for how to implement AI in your business through its AI Institute.
What, in a don't do what we do kind
exactly.
of thing?
Yeah.
It's never working with us again.
Do as I say, not as I do thing, very much. But yeah, that was a pretty big story this week. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it.
But it's so indicative of just how already AI is embedded into all these processes.
Yeah.
That this company, this multinational has gone, just throw it at the AI, it'll do it. No one's fact check it. Clearly, no one in their end is fact check it. Otherwise, they might notice.
Well, the government didn't either. It was an independent academic. It was a welfare academic.
But here's the thing: if you're the government,
Sydney
I guess you kind of trust that.
That's true.
I don't know. I just.
You'd go, we paid them to do all that bit, right?
They're the experts. That's what we paid them for, their expertise. So we'll trust it.
So, pretty shoddy.
It's very shoddy,
I think, this may be a bit of a stretch, but post-PwC, you'd think firms would be, really on their A game when it comes to working with the government.
Yeah, exactly.
And not trying to screw them around at all.
Unless they're just feeling... Possibly, allegedly, I'm not saying this, please don't sue us, but are they so arrogant they're just like, I'll just throw money at it? We can afford to repay a little bit of, a bit under $500,000. I guess they can. Speaking of shoddy work attitudes, another ChatGPT issue, right?
Well, this one, specifically ChatGPT. So the New South Wales Reconstruction Authority, the RA, the state agency, it's responsible for natural disaster damage,
so flood relief.
Exactly, They released a program.
I believe this is specifically flood relief data, isn't it?
This was flood relief. So I believe in 2002, this program launched to aid flood victims. I believe it was Northern Rivers kind of area.
Yeah, Lismore, because they got hammered. Absolutely torn apart.
Absolutely tragic. So I believe it was a third party working with the Northern Rivers Resilient Homes program. It was like an ex-contractor.
Yeah.
Entered all of the data collected through this program, so the personal details, into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
This is personal data and everything like that.
Yeah.
And, we know that you're therefore giving personal data to a large language model or an AI that could spurt it out again or could be...
Has it spurted it out again?
No, not that we know of. I believe it was, New South Wales government wrote, there is no evidence that any information has been made public. However, Cybersecurity New South Wales will continue to monitor the internet and the dark web to see if any of the information is accessible
so it's another one of those cases where it's not so much a breach or a leak, it's an exposure.
Yeah, absolutely. They're referring to it as a data breach.
Yep.
And I guess in that case, there is secure data that was exposed, and that therefore is a breach.
I guess the breach technically would be the data being put into ChatGPT in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were 10 columns of Excel document data. Pardon me. And over 12,000 rows of data that were put into ChatGPT.
One would imagine that's 12,000 individuals?
No.
No?
Based on early forensic analysis, as many as 3,000 people may have been impacted. And it makes sense. So the information included was names, addresses, email addresses, phone numbers, and personal and health data.
Gotcha.
So, that's obviously, let's do the maths, an average of four units per person.
So, mind you, if you're one of those 3,000 people, you're not happy with that.
3,000 people is a lot of people. Yeah. And you are... you've entered into a program to assist you because you've been through something terrible.
And your data ends up getting possibly compromised, and now you've got to worry about it showing up the dark web.
Yeah. So New South Wales government, Cybersecurity New South Wales are still working out what data might have been compromised. They wrote that this process has been complex and time-consuming. We acknowledge that it has taken time to notify people. Our focus has been on ensuring we had the right information to contact every impacted person accurately and completely.
Which, as we always say, is a really difficult process.
It is, That's a lot of data to go through and everything. And with an AI, if it's just in an AI bot like that.
I mean, here's the thing: if you put it into ChatGPT, how do you get it back out again and work out where it's been?
Exactly.
You need to go to OpenAI and go, "Hey, can we have a look inside the box?"
And they won't be able to get it for you.
Exactly.
So government has notified Privacy Commissioner. They've bolstered internal processes, and they've updated and provided guidance on the use of AI platforms to their staff. So, again, pretty standard closure of that.
But ultimately, good outcomes. Any mistake which leads to an improvement in systems and infrastructure and process, yay, net win. But people just playing fast and loose with ChatGPT is just continuing to happen.
And I think what it really demonstrates as well is a lack of understanding of what AI is, what large language models are, what generative AI is, and the risks involved of putting stuff in there. We've already seen lots and lots of individuals, or reports of lots of individuals using it for healthcare reasons and really personal reasons. The thing that comes to mind for me was, so on ChatGPT, obviously you can share your chats.
Yes.
And we spoke about this being a real risk. You can share your chats, but then they become, forget the term, searchable. Discoverable on a search engine if you share them. Google Drive had this issue at one point where if you share a document with someone, then all of a sudden it's accessible via search. Obviously, I can't imagine this third-party contractor or ex-contractor has done that for any reason, but it's just such little things that you wouldn't even think about.
I wonder what the end result, or the hoped-for end result of putting this data into ChatGPT, were they trying to come up with some weird... It's like, why would you do that?
It may have literally been asking the chatbot to analyze the data for certain patterns or something like that. I don't know.
Good point.
Again, 12,000 rows is a lot of data. They might have gone, all right, in terms of health data, all right, let's find the most vulnerable based on, I don't know what other data may have been involved, but if it was income,
other data,
health data, things like that, are people who are because addresses were in there, all right, people who were closest to the damage, let's filter
and it's
those
interesting
out.
because we've seen, I think a New South Wales government agency, maybe housing actually, is trying to use AI to put all of its data into it to work out what areas need to be focused on in terms of housing, in terms of upkeep, that kind of stuff. That's a good use. And I also guarantee they're not using just off-the-shelf ChatGPT.
Well, I also, if that is the process they were using it for, analysis of the data, once again, I also don't think that's a bad use, but this should not be, the web page of ChatGPT. This should be an internal system that's gridlocked off, or whatever the term is, from, public access.
It's your own model. You own it.
Or you have a private version of an existing model or something like that. Something where it's completely restricted from the public model. But, I've got nothing wrong with applications like that. They just need to be done properly.
A little bit more oversight.
Yeah.
Speaking of oversight, I believe we're looking at a first in the country in terms of application of a law, and we're talking about deepfake porn.
Yeah. So an Australian man has been fined almost $350,000, and that seems like not enough once you hear through this, for creating AI deepfake pornography of multiple women.
Yeah.
So the guy's name, Anthony Rotondo, he was ordered by the federal court to pay $343,500 because he created 12 AI-generated pornographic deepfakes of 6 Australian women without their consent between end of 2022 and October 2023.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal because one of the things he really didn't show was remorse for this. I believe originally he was ordered not to make them anymore and to take them down from a site called Mr. Deepfakes. He didn't take them down, and he continued making them, even though that he, in quotes, acknowledged that his posting of deepfake images could cause upset and distress. But he added that he expressed no remorse as he considered making the deepfakes a hobby that he found fun. Yeah, pretty evil.
Yeah.
And then in 2023, he was found to be in contempt of court because he violated 3 court orders, which were having the deepfakes removed to stop making them and for court orders not to be published as they contain the names of the victims, something he did. Yeah, so I believe there was one victim. One victim's quote here. And she said, even though it's clearly a fake video, I feel violated, vulnerable, and completely without agency. She added as well that the crimes made her feel horrified.
Yeah, absolutely.
So really, really vile. So in terms of what the court orders, he had forwarded 50 emails to the e-safety commission staff regarding the court orders. So this guy's pretty crazy. This is a first of its kind ruling.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this was before all of the recent updates to AI-generated deepfake pornography sharing and stuff like that. Because this is in 2023. But Julian Grant, the e-safety commissioner, is excited that this has set like a really important precedent for this kind of crime. So she said, we brought this case in 2023 and it's been filled with twists and turns. But we think this is an important test in the use of our remedial powers towards determined perpetrators and hope this serves as an important deterrent for this cruel, destructive, and antisocial misuse of easily accessible AI tools. And that's the thing. Easily accessible, I think, is the thing to take from that.
Yeah.
So, really, really crazy, this one. And to me, that lack of remorse, that complete disregard for human beings, 350,000 is pretty soft. And that includes, I believe, the e-safety commission or the information commission, I forget which one, their legal fees, I believe.
Yeah, gotcha.
I wrote this one last week, but yeah.
So I've just done some research while you're talking there because I was really curious.
Yeah.
Mr. Deepfakes shut down early this year.
Yes, it's been taken down.
Yay. But this is amazing. This is according to a research paper by Stanford University and University of California, San Diego. As of November 2023, Mr. Deepfakes hosted 43,000 sexual deepfake videos depicting 3.8 thousand individuals. These videos have been watched more than 1.5 billion times. Of those videos, 95.3% of the targets are celebrity women. Wow.
Yeah, see, these were, I believe, prominent women was the word used in media. So I there's obviously no identifying factors publicly about these victims, which is for the best. And I hope that they can recover from such a horrible thing.
It's a horrible concept. It's a horrible thing. And, we already know that it's causing a lot of distress in Australian schools, for instance, as children use this to bully, shame, and sometimes embarrass each other.
Yeah.
But to see a site that does it on this scale being taken down and to see individuals using it held to account, look, it's a horrible thing, but it's good news.
Yeah. And I think there's going to be a lot of people creating AI deepfakes, fully not understanding the weight and the impact that this kind of the technology can have on other people's lives, particularly, like you said, high school kids.
Yep.
I think, primary school kids, because these tools are so easily accessible. If you've got a child creating a deep fake of one of their mates or whatever, and everyone's consenting and it's all really, really cool. People go, it's a bit of a laugh.
Consent is the issue, though. You can't consent to what you don't know about.
Exactly. And I think if you're a young kid and you don't really understand that premise, you might come into school the next day with something really, really harmful to a friend.
It gives me the chills. I still have enough memory of high school to imagine what it would be like to come to school and have everybody giggling at their mobile phones as they look at you. I mean, that stuff that happened at my school, but not with AI, obviously, but with just people had rudimentary Photoshop skills. Yeah. You do some face swaps.
Yeah. And that's much less impactful than something like this, which you can, in a couple prompts, depict someone in quite a realistic fashion.
That's the thing. It's the realism thing of it.
Exactly. Doing something really, really horrible or, making them look like an idiot or whatever. But
yeah.
Anyway,
it's a horrible thing, and it's great to see our government taking action on it, and action that will now set a precedent. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I think that's really good news. And on that note, it's time for a break. We'll be back very, very shortly. Welcome back to Cyber Uncut. You're listening to him, Daniel Croft, and me, David Hollingworth. And now it's time for other crimes.
Yeah.
Because that was also some crimes. But no, anyway. All right. We've got to do it. Let's just pull the Band-Aid off. We're talking about scattered, lapsus, shiny, spider, hunter, bad guys.
Yeah.
Those jerks. Finally, they've released a leak site.
Yeah.
This is something that you and I have been talking about, like, what are they doing with the
Where
data?
is this?
Where is
all of this
Where is
information?
it? October 3, over the long weekend, that I messaged you like, I want to write a story.
Yeah.
I want to write a story. I was way too relaxed to write a story.
And I was
about
also
this.
midway through my wine and jalapeno.
Exactly.
So
And I thought, no, right to disconnect, all of that.
Yeah. Criminals don't take a holiday. We did.
We did. We took a holiday.
Yeah.
The leak site is comprehensive. You've looked at it.
Yeah,
I've looked at it.
It's alarming seeing the names that are on there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Every single page, not an SME, not an SME. Massive company, massive company, massive company.
Disney, Qantas,
Telstra.
UPS, Telstra, all that's kind of separate. We'll get to that one.
Well,
This
Qantas is too.
No, Qantas is part of the Salesforce.
Oh, so
It is part
okay.
of the
I actually
Salesforce
didn't
thing.
know this about Telstra. Okay, I'm very intrigued.
We'll get to
I'm very
Telstra, yeah,
intrigued.
yeah. So anyway, they've finally dumped all their data on this new leak site, and they've taken a really interesting tack with how they're dealing with it. Now, we know for a fact that whoever's behind the Qantas hack reached out to Qantas going, hey, if you pay us, this will go away.
Yeah.
We know they've reached out to any number of other companies involved in this.
Yeah.
If you pay us, it'll go away. Now they've escalated. Now they've listed all of these victims. They say they've got like 1 billion lines of data, like huge amounts. I'm sure they have.
Yeah.
But now they're calling upon Salesforce to pay.
But
Otherwise it'll get
Salesforce was
published.
never involved. This isn't a Salesforce issue.
Yeah.
You know, I think for context, it's worth noting that, you know, usually when you have a third-party cyber attack, okay, the third party is involved, but it's not. These Salesforce instances that this isn't for you, you know this.
Yeah.
But for anyone who doesn't, these Salesforce instances are managed by the individual
Spun up
companies.
by that company, managed by that company. Salesforce has little to nothing to do with it.
I mean, it was a consistent vulnerability, you could argue there, but anyway, it gets a bit murky.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so continue.
And so over the weekend, a lot of people obviously commented, wrote stories about it. Then we discovered early on in the week, oh, there's Qantas.
Yeah.
So you've looked at this. What data have they got?
So let's have a look through. So, so this was a really, really weird one. So they posted a data sample, and they claimed to have over 5 million records of personally identifiable information. I hate saying that; it's such a mouthful.
PII.
PII, yeah. So they posted a sample which showed fields for names, phone numbers, additional frequent flyer details on top of what I'd written up here, frequent flyer numbers, references to business data, and, you know, some pretty comprehensive data.
But that's pretty much in line with what Qantas said they got.
Exactly, yeah. However, in the sample, I think I saw one field that wasn't marked null. Mm-hmm. The entire sample is just, you know, frequent flyer, expiry date, null. Name, null.
Yep.
Except for like one or two. There are a couple scattered in there.
Yeah.
However, they said that they're going to be publishing this data
Yep.
in a couple of days. I think it was the 10th of October. And so those null fields may open up. Who knows?
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will either, because that's a
we
sample.
know that what Qantas said about the data is it took them a while to go through it, and they realized that some people had all their data compromised, some people less, some people more, and I think that's what we're seeing in the sample set that these guys are posting is it's an incomplete data set. They don't have data on everyone.
But then what confuses me, I mean, it doesn't confuse. I don't know.
No, you're right to be
sample
confused.
itself,
It's a very confusing process.
They're using a weird sample for it all to be null, even if it's incomplete. But then obviously they don't want to just hand out the sample where they have their most comprehensive data. Yeah. So really, really, really weird one. So I actually reached out to Qantas about this. They were way on top of the fact that they'd been listed. They've been really, really good at that throughout the entire process. So Qantas gave me, it was a pretty standard statement. I'm sure they're still going through their investigation to this. So they wrote, ensuring continued vigilance and providing ongoing support for our customers remain our top priorities. We continue to offer a 24/7 support line and specialist identity protection advice to affected customers. We've also put in place additional security measures, increased training across our teams, and strengthened system monitoring. I'm getting there. And detection since the incident occurred.
Yeah.
So nothing really acknowledging the listing, but when I got in contact, it very much seemed that way.
Yeah.
That like Qantas has been on top of this the entire time, which has been really, really good. We've commended their response quite a few times. So yeah, pretty crazy.
Now the plot thickens and thickens a couple more times.
Yes.
Because overnight they listed Telstra.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a small Australian brand.
No, it's up there.
So they're saying they've got millions, like 19 million lines of data. Millions of lines. And they're threatening to publish within a few days. And they posted a sample of it. And it's like, okay, you've got names and addresses and what look to be phone numbers.
Yep.
Okay. Contacted Telstra. And I will just tell you now what Telstra had to say about Scattered Lapsus Hunters.
Yes. Correct.
We are aware that a malicious actor has listed what it claims is Telstra data online, and we've investigated. Based on our assessment, the data has been scraped from publicly available sources and does not originate from Telstra systems. No passwords, banking details, or personal identification data such as driver's licenses or Medicare numbers are included. And it's not.
Yeah.
Even Scattered Lapsus Hunters are saying we've got names and addresses. I mean, yeah, big deal. Turns out that what it looks like is they've scraped it from a reverse phone number lookup. There's a site called, what is it? Reverse Australia.
Okay.
You go to Reverse Australia, you put in a phone number, and it'll show you the address it's linked to. So I put some of those phone numbers in, and even the format of each address, with the capitalization, where it is, it's all from there.
Okay.
So what I find fascinating about this is clearly these kids, from what I can tell, they're all a bunch of snotty-nosed teenagers.
Yeah.
Don't hack me, snotty-nosed teenagers. Are capable enough to get into these Salesforce instances. They're capable enough to do all of the things they've done. And yet in this case, I can only imagine one of them maybe has scraped this and thought, what the heck? Let's try it on.
Well, yeah.
Let's see if we can get some money from Telstra.
Yeah, why not? It's low-hanging fruit once again.
But even it's not Telstra's low-hanging fruit. It's somebody else's low-hanging fruit.
Well, yeah. True. But, it's easy for them to get.
Yeah.
And if they can abuse it, they will.
Yeah, but it looks to be a complete beat-up on that angle.
We see all the time. Cyber criminals like to work on the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
And if it's simple and they can just chuck it in there to get another big name in there, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and so what we need to mention here is also the fact that we've been talking about this group forming, reforming, splitting off. Apparently it quit a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
My theory, and it's probably completely wrong, is that this collective is way more complex, way more difficult to track than it possibly is. In fact, it probably didn't even exist before who named Scattered Spider? That was CrowdStrike.
CrowdStrike, yeah.
Before CrowdStrike said, hey, these guys are Scattered Spider, gave them a cool name, I don't think they really existed.
I agree.
So they've gone, we're Scattered Spider now. And of course you got the various Shiny Hunters people who might be connected to that. You got the Com as well, that big collective. I don't think we understand exactly how loose and or connected all these groups are.
So
I think for every one of them that retires, the rest go and do something else, because there's now another group that I think is pretty sure linked to these guys.
Well, so my understanding kind of is that Shiny Hunters was the group, the actual group, and there was this collective, and they started working with those guys and Lapsus.
Yeah. And
it was kind of like, well, they're not part of Shiny Hunters, but Shiny Hunters is this established group. Yeah. And so when there was like, we're quitting, and all these different messages, it was different parts of Scattered Spider who are now representatives of this super group making different announcements. Yeah. But for the idea of a collective of individual hackers under the same name having a ransomware page and doing that kind of thing, I don't think that's it. I think Shiny Hunters may be the kind of head of all of this. Yeah. So, and even then, their kind of identity is hard to identify. Yeah. So it gets more complex. So currently, Rapid7 is tracking what it's calling a new threat actor called the Crimson Collective. Yep. And they are linked to a hack and breach of Red Hat. Red Hat was recently listed on the Scattered Lapsus Hunters leak site.
All the same data that the so-called Crimson Collective, or Rapid7 is saying the Crimson Collective have. I have found the Crimson Collective Telegram channel, and yep, it sure sounds like these guys are adjunct to part of...
Part of the supergroup has gone and formed a new band.
Yeah. Here we are. So here's Crimson Collective talking about their Red Hat hack. Since Red Hat doesn't want to answer us, over 28,000 repositories were exported. It includes all their customers' CERs, customer relation stuff. There are other devs' private repositories. This one will be fun. We've given them too much time already to answer, lol. Instead of just starting a discussion, they kept ignoring the emails. So yeah, all right, Brody. I guess Brody's one of the someone. And yeah, they show a file tree. Yeah, it looks legitimate. But it's very similar to what Scattered Lapsus Hunters have on their leak site regarding Red Hat. Now, at the same time, someone has recently attacked Discord.
Yeah.
And gotten some amount of very, very personal data, i.e. image, photo ID data.
Yeah.
Driver's licenses, passports, because Discord is now involved in age verification in Australia and the UK. So, of course, people are showing their passports. There's a lot to go through. And Discord has said, yeah, small number of those passports and IDs may have been compromised. VX Underground, a researcher you and I both trust on X, has said, it's millions of passports.
Well, I saw Bleeping Computer, again, a publication we both really, really like. Yep. They do really, really good journalism. Published today that it was 5 million.
There you go. Yeah.
So
I think someone at Discord is probably crapping themselves right now.
I think, quick little tangent, I think as well that this is another point, and it was always going to be a risk.
Yeah.
Regarding the social media ban and international social media bans as well. Here is another kind of responsibility you need to vet of all these third parties to make sure that this personal data, some of which will belong to underage people, is kept securely.
Yeah.
And when you're going out and vetting, a social media brand like Facebook or Snapchat or Discord or whatever, it's not like when you're going through a third party and go, oh, I'm going to go with you because you have better security. No, you're targeting this one.
Absolutely.
Their security is what you get.
And so it looks like all of that's come from Zendesk. Because it's all a third-party Discord support service, which a lot of people are now naming as Zendesk, which would make a lot of sense. However, to go back to Crimson Collective and their links to shiny scattered spider losers, classic hacker, I don't know what they're trying to say, but this is an October 6th post on their Telegram channel. On the 4th April 1949 was created the so big called NATO. Okay, English isn't their strong suit, which is we always thought that scattered spiders were that, but that's okay. But what if today's new alliance was bigger than that, but for a greater purpose, ruining corporations? What if Crimson's shininess extends even further away? And it links to the onion of Scattered Lapsus Hunters, the Red Hat leak.
I'm sorry, they're claiming to be a bigger kind of...
Bigger than NATO.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Whoa.
Yeah. And here's the thing. There is something that's repeated all throughout the Scattered Lapsus Hunters leak site. Don't be the next headline. Take the right choice. And that's what Crimson Collective is saying right here.
That is like really, really well done propaganda.
Yeah.
That's really, really well worded.
Yeah.
I did completely disagree with it because all it is propaganda.
But I think Crimson Collective has an incredible overlap with Scattered Lapsus Hunters. I've reached out to Rapid7 to find out about that because surely they're aware of it.
Yeah.
But then again, we could be on the bleeding edge of discovery here. I don't know. But anyway, Crimson Collective talking about the Discord Zendesk hack. The ongoing situation with the Discord Zendesk threat actor who continues to leak sensitive data and escalate their actions by releasing additional samples daily serves as a stark warning to corporations. Ignoring individuals who offer an opportunity for a resolution is a grave misstep. Notice that sounds very different in terms of its written English compared to the other post. And if ever you want a clear idea that these are multiple individuals operating under the same moniker, I think right there it is.
Yeah.
Discord's failure to address these concerns has backfired, fueling discontent among its user base. Their poorly implemented age compliance policies, including arbitrary ID verification demands, coupled with deplorable management practices, have provoked a justified backlash. This guy could write for a living, seriously. This should be a lesson in the consequences of neglecting accountability and transparency. Again, don't be the next headline. Just pay and go to sleep. So brave, aren't they?
Yeah, wow.
And then talks about Salesforce public refusal to pay in response to data breaches. Again, as you said, it's not really Salesforce's fault. They end their latest screed by targeting Rapid7. Rapid7, much respect for your work. You've done solid research, but you've only begun to scratch the surface. Don't lose hope. I mean, these guys, we know that they have reached out to harass researchers, journalists, executives of the companies they're going after. These are just mad lads.
Yeah.
These are guys with more money than sense. In fact, Kevin Beaumont and Brian Krebs, both security researchers I really respect. We're talking about the fact that these guys have more money than they know what to do with. So they're trying to order pizzas with Bitcoin. They've got so much money that can only be spent in certain ways. They're doing things like, I don't know, trying to buy rocket launchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's all you can buy with that amount of traceable Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's happening. We're just trying to work it out ourselves. There is a big group of idiots who are technically proficient, who all know each other, who all seem to be really laughing at our expense, at the expense of any number of other companies, and they seem to be having the time of their lives doing it.
Yeah.
And I hate them. If only because they're so confusing to report on.
Yeah, well, yeah, if they'd like to clarify, reach out.
Yeah, reach out. Yeah, we'll sell you a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Anyway, calm down after that. That went places.
Yeah.
I told you I had something extra to talk about.
You did, yes.
Okay, cool. Let's bring it back even more local. Western Sydney University.
Again.
We talk about them a lot, sadly. We wish we didn't. But as I said, when I shared this on LinkedIn, they're having a very bad, no good year.
Last 4 years.
Yeah, pretty much. So earlier
yeah.
this week, a whole mess of students. This is right? This is this week that this happened.
Yes.
This week feels like it's taken a year.
I know, and it's a short week because of the public holiday.
Right? Thank God it's a short week.
Yeah.
So a whole mess of students from the university woke up to the most awful message you can imagine. We've revoked your credentials, your qualifications, your degrees, gone, done. And it came from an official WSU email address. At the same time, a second email was going around, sent from the parking permits email. It was the parking permits that were originally hacked by the person who is allegedly behind that hack, who's now on bail and awaiting charges. And this email went on for pages, basically going, in short, WSU's cybersecurity posture is terrible. They're still letting people into their network. They don't know what they're doing. You should worry. And now the vice chancellor of the university has released a quite an extensive apology, which unfortunately includes the line, "The risk remains." It does.
He's being honest because they haven't fixed their cyber security kind of over the last 4 years. This has happened, 5-6 times?
Yeah, I mean, so this is Professor George Williams, AO, Vice Chancellor of Western Sydney University. And, he's not their cybersecurity guy.
No, he's not.
He's just got the horrible job of addressing this. I want to start by saying again how sorry I am for the harm caused by the fraudulent emails sent on Monday. I know how distressing this has been for our students, alumni, and broader community. People have told me this directly, and I can understand why people were so shocked and upset. My priority yesterday was to inform you as quickly as possible that the emails were fraudulent and to put support in place. I've since focused with our team on working with the police to tackle this criminal action and understand exactly what has occurred. Basically, someone's gotten inside their email generator and sent this stuff out. No other data's been compromised, he said. I tend to believe that.
I mean, maybe directly, but if you've got people... following up these emails.
Yeah, he did admit that WSU's been under attack for some time. Unfortunately, the attacks in our system have not stopped, as shown by the malicious emails sent on Monday. I recognize how critical it is to support this work. We've not just a regulatory responsibility, but a moral responsibility to protect the data of our students and community. Theft of this data exposes people to harm, as the recent malicious emails show. But he did say they spent $26 million on cybersecurity this year.
Oh, okay.
And a similar spend next year. So the uplift is happening.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Because I was about to get into a thing about we don't like attacking a victim over this. But when you don't do anything for that long,
they're doing a lot.
Yeah, okay, they're doing a lot. All right.
So I want to go through what they're doing. Exactly. Calm down. Slow down. Improvements to universities' IT systems include improved password hygiene, stronger MFA, improved 24/7 monitoring, additional firewalls, streamlined account creation processes. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And appointing a senior risk advisor. I think that's
going to be a big one.
Someone with an umbrella role to look where the risk is and address it.
Yeah.
Because this is a sprawling campus. This is a huge student body.
Yeah.
And clearly it's a ripe target that has issues.
Yeah.
So I think these are all very, very strong moves, but it's that last line. The risk to our community has been reduced, but a risk remains and always will do so.
And that's
Now,
true.
It sounds, one of our colleagues was like, oh, it sounds a little bit wishy-washy. It's just realistic.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And like we always discuss, when, not if.
When, not if. No, that's exactly it. And unfortunately, and at this point, I almost feel like, we're part of the problem because we write about it. We publicize the fact.
I think that sometimes,
yeah. I don't know what to do about that. That's a really, really tough one. However, they're obviously being feeling held accountable. They're doing the work. And hopefully this will reduce those issues moving on.
Well,
but if I were a student of the university, I'd be so worried.
Yeah, well, $26 million a year, so it's like $52 million on cyber uplift.
Yeah,
Fair.
it's a not insignificant amount of money.
No, that's a huge amount of money.
However, okay, there's a lot going on there. We all got very, very emotional. We're going to continue with the emotion a bit, but it's a happy bit. And I'm going to go over to you because there have been arrests.
Yes, there have been 2 arrests. So we discussed, I believe, last week, a really, really horrible cyber attack on a chain of
Childcare centers.
Childcare, daycares.
We've seen some nasty stuff. That's one of the nastiest.
Yeah, and that there were photos posted to the dark web in a sample of children's faces that were later blurred because the backlash was so bad.
Yeah.
The good news is 2 people have been arrested in the UK regarding this. So it was 2 17-year-olds, according to the release. Some media has reported a 22-year-old and a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
So much so that one of our sub-editors reached out to me after this and said, hey, is it not a 22-year-old and a 17-year-old? And I said...
when our subs are on the ball, they're really good.
They are. Yeah. They're fantastic, and I'm really glad they did that. But the Met Police release actually says 2 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
So that's what we've gone with. And they're believed to have been connected to this attack on the Kiddo International Group.
Yep. So
they have childcare centres all over the world.
Yeah. But this is the UK branch.
This was, in this case, it was a range of them in London.
Yeah.
So the Met's head of economic and cybercrime, Will Line, said, since these attacks took place, specialist Metropolitan investigators have been working at pace to identify those responsible. We understand reports of this nature can cause considerable concern, especially to those to those parents and carers who may be worried about the impact of such an incident on them and their families. So, fantastically, these 2 people have been arrested. They, I guess they would be connected to the Radiant ransomware. Now, Met Police has not said anything about them being
They could
connected,
be. For all we know, they could be Radiant ransomware.
But Radiant was the group that claimed this cyber attack, and they're believed to have been connected to.
Now, interestingly, before these kids got done, the hackers, Radiant, took down the entire thing.
Yeah,
they just went, well, we went too far.
I think the backlash was bad enough, even from other cyber criminals.
I would imagine that they probably don't care about the news. Like, that kind of news is what you want, right? Because all that news puts pressure. But I can really imagine, like, we've got hacking groups out there which said years ago we won't go after hospitals or charities. Now they do. But I'm figuring even these guys have lines you do not cross. And going after 3-year-olds and publishing their data on the internet brings down a lot of fire.
I think just in the nature of being... This is going to get existential.
Here we go.
Just in the nature of being a human being, unless you're an emotionless psychopath, which,
going after kids.
Yeah,
like,
I think
they don't do it.
That's always going to put a sour taste in most people's
you would hope
mouths.
that there's a line that you do not cross, and that is it.
And I think that's what they got. So, they've taken it down, which is also fantastic. But the fact that 2 people have been arrested...
I tell you what, though, that's fast.
It was lightning
really
quick.
Fast.
Like, compare it to the TFA, the Transport for London, TFL, sorry, not TFA, Transport for London one. Those arrests that were recent, the most recent arrests, they were done a year or 2 after.
Yeah.
However, I think there was one of those guys that was arrested right at the time, but
Yeah.
Anyway, it'd be really
And it's
interesting
really
to see how
interesting to
this
see this
goes.
sudden string of people who are hacking organizations in their own jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of hacking groups, they're somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Yep.
They're in China or North Korea. They're safe.
Yeah.
They can go after targets wherever they want. They're fine. If I were a criminal mastermind, I probably wouldn't hack things in my own country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be doing everything in your power to make it harder to be caught, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they want you to think. You want to live upstairs from the police station.
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's thinking right there.
No. Yeah, it is a bit weird. And once again, this massive trend of targeting the UK.
They're
we've
getting
seen
hammered.
Jaguar Land Rover, M&S, Co-op,
Harrods got hit
Harrods
again.
again.
Yeah.
And then this, TFL. Like, there is a long, long list of British organisations in the last 2 years that have been targeted.
They shouldn't have left the EU, I'm just saying.
That's for the next podcast. And
and on that bombshell,
I agree, but anyway.
On that bombshell, we're going to go to a break, and we're back with good news. The beers are back.
Yeah.
Talk soon. We are back with Cyber Uncut. He is
Daniel Croft.
I am
David Hollingworth.
masterful.
Yeah.
Okay, so last week we talked about Asahi, the Cyber Uncut brand beer.
Yeah.
They got targeted by some unknown hacking group. Well, guess what? No longer unknown. Qilin ransomware.
Yeah.
Ransomware is a service group. One of their affiliates targeted Asahi and have now started to publish information on the dark web. Now, Asahi production is back up. There's the good news.
I do want to clarify one thing as well. I think a lot of people said that the production...
Oh, was it ordering?
Yeah.
Was it ordering systems?
People thought, I think, that the production stopped because there was a cyber attack on production. It wasn't.
Yeah.
They turned off production because no one could actually order beers.
So why make the beers when no one can drink them?
Yeah. But no, that's the good news part.
That's the good news part.
Yeah.
Bad news is, while Asahi was saying, it's just knocked off some of our systems, we don't think any personal data has been involved. Personal data is very much involved.
The good news ends.
The good news ends. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, we're failing at bringing you good news this week. We tried. We went through everything you wrote over the last 7 days. Like, is there any good news?
It's pretty...
Well, I had a good long weekend.
Yeah, pretty
maybe
doom
we should
and
have
gloom.
left that bit till now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it does look as though it's a far more widespread. Now, it's not a huge amount of data. It's less than 30 gigabytes of data.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot when we...
It always varies on types of data as well. You get passport scans. That's not a lot.
However, it's very personal,
text
isn't
documents.
it? Yeah, that's a lot. So here we've got a lot of financial information. A lot of the documents are in English. A lot are in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it seems to involve Asahi operations around the globe. Now, this is what this Qilin affiliate is saying, is that this is a global data breach. And when we looked through the data, we did in fact find some data relating to an Australian employee.
Yeah.
Now, this could be an outlier. They could well have gone through the data to find the most broad set of files that make it look as though this leak is far, far bigger than it is. However, one Australian employee, a form relating to them is in this.
Yeah.
There is photo ID regarding Japanese employees. So personal data, employee data, 100% has been caught up in this hack. Yeah. Good news.
Yeah, not good news.
Not good news. Do we have any good news? Anything?
I don't think we do.
Do you have any fun plans the weekend coming up?
What am I doing on the weekend? I got a photo shoot for a band.
Look, it's not bad news. It's not bad news.
No,
I've got a friend from Canberra coming up. It's going to be great.
There you go. That's
cool.
brilliant news.
This is good news for us. We're reaching. We're really reaching. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, not really much good news, unfortunately, this week.
It's definitely one of those weeks. We promise next week, because I think we're going to call that one there. Next week, I'm sure we can find some good news to end the podcast on.
Yeah, I won't promise because I can't guarantee it, but I'll try.
I promise. I promise we'll have good news at the end of next week's podcast. I will bring it forth into the universe.
Okay.
I will be the change I want to be.
Good for you.
It's okay because you're hosting next week.
I am hosting next week, and I'll be inviting you.
Oh no, we have now started sabotaging each other's podcasts.
Okay. Well, you don't say we. You started.
I've got to bring the good news now.
Well, yeah, it's your good news.
God damn. Anyway,
On that note,
a much more subdued podcast. We'll be back next week. Anyway, thank you for listening. We've really enjoyed talking to you. We hope you've enjoyed listening. Sign up to our newsletter on Cyber Daily. You can find us on LinkedIn. Please head to the website. You can read all the stories. All this news is based upon. And if you get the newsletter, you'll get all this news in your inbox every morning. And don't forget our new CISO Brief newsletter.
Yes.
Most of you are probably signed up to it already, but please keep listening to it. We really, really like it. And we'll be back next week.
Beautiful.
All right. Goodbye.
See ya.